Human in the loop. It's when you do have your LangGraph or just graph workflow, AI agent workflow, and there's a step that will requires human input. So this is what a workflow typically looks like. I'll have a series of tasks. This is largely what my workflow looks like for taking backlog content tasks and drafting a first version. Go to linear, goes to the LLM, it drafts the content, and then end. Really, my workflow then puts it into a human review status. And then outside of the workflow, I go and I human review. But with human in the loop, there are a couple of different options I can now consider. So, one thing that's really easy in LangGraph is you can add an interrupt, either just have it ask for like approval, and so like an update state, and then it'll just run the rest. What I think might be really interesting, I could have a workflow where it goes to the LLM, drafts the content, it's in my queue for human and review, and then I send that feedback back to the LLM. It runs the steps again, or I approve it and then it makes some small edits and then it drafts the rest of the assets that go with publishing a blog post, for example. Another thing that I'm thinking about, especially as I operationalized how I use AI workflows, my process will evolve to I create the workflow, likely do some light evals just to make sure the workflow runs. Then I'll graduate it to where I'll have likely some human review steps as it runs in production. So in this content example, maybe it does the outline, I review, then it does the content, I review again, and perhaps there could even be some iteration in there. But as the workflow gets better, I can use this human in the loop fundamental and framework to gradually graduate a workflow to a more autonomous version. And that's it for today.